Today's episode is brought to you by DB. DB is a Scandinavian brand that makes backpacks and bags to help people on the move stay ready for anything. From the streets to the peaks, DB's gear is travel tested by some of the world's best athletes, adventurers, and creators. Over the past decade, DB has designed and developed, released, and refined the best bags in the market. With DB's patented hookup system, you are able to attach smaller products to your backpack, roller, or tote.
It's important to have the right bag for your travels and adventures, and DB has you covered. From the Nair duffel to the strong backpack, DB ensures you always have the right gear for your journey. We are teaming up with DB to exclusively offer our listeners 10% off your next purchase by using the code POD10 or going to the link in our show notes. DB, it's time to move on. Time to get going.
Ideals like peace, freedom, and justice, they get packed up, but we can all go home. Well, I'm not going home. I'm gonna get on my boat, and I'm going upriver, and I'm going to kick that son of a bitch bison's ass so hard that the next bison wannabe is gonna feel it. Now, who wants to go home, and who wants to go with me?
Welcome to the Rated G for Gamers podcast, episode 287. Before we start the show, we want to thank all of our wonderful fans who have supported us. And if you want to show support for the Rated G network, you can find us on Patreon at patreon.com/Rated G for Gamers. You can also find us on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Rated G for Gamers. And finally, please rate and review us on iTunes and Spotify. We appreciate all the love. I'm your host, Dave Rotino, and this is my co-host, Dan, the podcaster formerly known as Classic Robinson.
What's going on, man? I want to say something for you of watching the video.
Oh.
It's back. It's back. The Spider-Man mug.
Spider-Man. Does your mug do whatever a mug can?
My mug could do whatever a mug can. And I got to say, What's in the Spider-Man mug?
What you got in
mystery.
There? Oh,
well,
okay.
We're all recording sort of, late night, so it's something definitely to give me a boost, and it ain't coffee.
I see. Someone's got some Baileys and Irish cream in there.
No, it's not March. No,
not March. That's an anytime drink. That is not just for the month of March. But so I appreciate the feeling. It's good. Okay. So well, we definitely got some stuff to go over this week. I got a lot to say about a particular topic that's coming up a little bit later in the show. So I am, I don't want to say amped. I don't want to say amped or hyped to talk about it, but
you're excited. You're excited.
It's important. It's an important topic.
Prepared.
It's an important topic. Yeah.
I said, you know what? I definitely want to talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So.
It's all right. So let's get this show on the road. We have an awesome show this week.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Coming up, we're going to talk about all of the accusations about, rating games and the Wata situation. Games selling for millions of dollars when it really shouldn't be. Right.
Yep.
We're going to talk about Sony's State of Play or their showcase being announced. Right. But before we get into all that, let's begin the show with, I know Dave's favorite horror game, Resident Evil. Now, I know Dave is a huge fan.
I think that's right.
I think it's your favorite.
I think you're right about that. Yeah.
And Dave was a big fan of the movies. He loved the Mila Djokovic movies. He loved it. He went to go see everyone. He owns them all on Blu-ray and DVD.
Wow, we saw part 3 in the theaters together. I remember that. It was so many years ago. I've seen 1, 2, and 3.
So that was
one
it.
is pretty good.
That's sort of an inside joke because Dave hates those movies.
Well, I mean,
except for the first one.
they get progressively worse. I mean, two was a nightmare, and part two was essentially like the story of 2 and 3 mashed together, kind of.
I liked 5.
I didn't see 5.
Like,
what was that? Aftermath or Apocalypse? Or...
I don't know the names. They should have kept with the numbering system.
Okay.
But I think 5 was like the callback. It was either 5 or 6, or maybe it wasn't, or it could have been 4. Whenever they called back to the original game and they brought back some of the original actors to do that scene where the laser cut everybody in half. Right?
Oh, right. The iconic scene from 2. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
No, from 1. That was from the first one. Not the second.
Was it in the first
one?
one?
The iconic scene from the first one is when the laser beam down this corridor.
I thought that was
cut
part
everybody
2.
in half.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, no.
Okay. Well, they brought
part
that.
Part 2 was Nemesis. Part 2 was Nemesis.
Part 3 was Nemesis. Part 2 was Mr. X. Part 2 in the movie was Nemesis.
Yes, we're talking about the movie.
Was Nemesis.
We're talking about the movies. Yeah.
Oh! The callback to the first movie, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Because they had the laser scene was in the game of 2, and then the callback in part 4 there was another laser scene. So okay, I'm getting confused a little bit. You know about the movies more than I do because you've seen them all, I think.
I've seen them all. Not great, good for what it is. After the third one, you sort of just be like, oh, you're just like, okay, this is.
You're along for the ride. Yeah.
Yeah. So no longer going to be a callback to the game per se, right?
Right.
So, but we know that they're going to be a Netflix sort of. TV show is a TV show, right? It's not a movie per se.
I believe so. Yeah,
it's
series. Yeah.
Netflix series. Resident Evil: Welcome to Raccoon City, and they got first pictures from the set, and it looks sort of spot on, right? Like they're in a mansion. It looks sort of spot on. Like I was like, okay, this is what I want though. Obviously, they have to do the callback to the first game for old heads like us because we lived the first 3 games, right? And they have to do it in that style that that the newer generation likes, right? The new movies like the MCUs and the Aquamans, right? Like do it in that context, that style that the new generation likes. But this is what I want. I don't want it to be campy, right? Because then it gets into that cheesy territory. But somewhere in the series they have to say Jill sandwich. I'm sorry. They have to do a callback to that.
I mean, it's the most iconic line.
Yeah.
There was do you remember one year at PAX East somebody was dressed up as a Jill sandwich?
Yes, that was
she
hilarious.
was amazing. I had to stop and get her picture. I said, "You were fantastic." I'm pretty sure it's up on the Instagram if you go back. Maybe 2017, maybe 2018. Yeah. I'm with you on that. I think it's gotta set the right tone. It's gotta be kind of specific. You know what I think is a good example of that done right is the Cobra Kai series.
Yes,
because they continue the story of Daniel. Right, he's all grown up. We know Mr. Miyagi died. I mean, he died in real life too, the actor who played him, so he couldn't obviously come back. But they kind of continue that, and he starts up like the dojo again and all that. And they bring back all the players, and they kind of continue like what would happen 30, 35 years later. What are the events now? Daniel's son has kids and all of that. And
this is season 3, right, or season 4?
This would be, I think, season 4 is coming out now. Yeah,
they already confirmed that they're going to do season 5. I will say, as a side note, okay, I love the Karate Kid.
That's great
as a kid.
Yeah,
but it was torture because everybody called me Daniel's son. Okay, it was fucking.
Dude, that's awesome.
No, it's not.
Nobody's
awesome.
gonna mess with you because they're calling you a karate master. They don't want to get the crane kick to the face.
No one is not trying to screw with me by saying it. They are trying to screw with me by saying it. They want the fight. Daniel's son. They trying to pick on me and stuff me in a locker. Daniel's son. It drove me nuts. Okay.
All right, fair enough.
But all right, I digress. I can't wait for the Netflix series. Right?
Yeah.
They've done a good job so far with like the Castlevania series. I really loved.
Castlevania series was great. Yeah.
The only thing is they have a tendency to cancel series, right? Before, like maybe 3, 4th season, they usually cancel it. So hopefully Karate Kid can continue as long as it's relevant, right? As long as it's good.
Well, the fact that they already signed on for another season when I think this season 4 was supposed to be the end, they're like, nah, we're going to keep going with it. All right. So now they're obligated, isn't it? Aren't they under contract now to do at least 2 seasons?
Well, I mean, again, Netflix they're not going to have 10 seasons of a show, or at least, that'll be rare. They really want to get in and get out while it's hot.
Oh yeah. Yeah. You want to do the Breaking Bad and leave on a high note, right? Everybody wants more, but it's like, nope, that is the perfect time to go out, right? The series is strong. You don't want to do a Dexter, right? Where they just went on for 4 seasons too long and it was just terrible.
Let me ask you a quick question. Okay.
Oh yeah. Lay it on me.
How many seasons of The Honeymooners were there?
1.
Yes!
1.
That's crazy!
39 episodes, I believe. That was it.
Yes!
Single run.
Yes!
And they ganged them all together, and they did it in 1 season, I believe, which is...
Two seasons of the time, 1 season of our time, like now.
Right.
So apparently back then it was split into 2 seasons.
Yeah. Okay.
It's considered 1 season.
It's counted as 1 season. Yeah. And typically a season would be either 13 or 26 episodes. That was kind of the way that worked. If you're in England, it's either 3 or 6, which is crazy.
Well, I mean, season usually goes through the fall through the spring, right? And
up until
13, 22, yeah.
Up until May.
Again, and if you're in England, I mean, the next season could be 3 years afterwards, which makes no sense.
And you're only going to get a maximum of 6 episodes. They really keep it short.
I love Luther, which was Idris Elba's.
Oh yeah,
show,
yeah.
Right, and it took 4 years for them to bring it back. So, all right. This is a gaming podcast, not TV.
Not the Honeymooners podcast.
Not the Honeymooners podcast. But I was amazed. I was amazed that there was only 1 season, 39 episodes. That's crazy. All right, let's take this back into gaming. Dave, have you ever had this problem when you're gaming and you're hungry, but you can't put down the controller?
Yes, Dan, all the time. It is a common problem, and I can't find a solution to my gaming and eating needs.
We've had this problem since the 80s. Okay.
Yeah.
But this one company has solved it for us. Mm-hmm. Okay. They have a way for you to eat and not put down the controller, and it's called the gaming chopsticks holder.
Okay.
Yes. It straps 2 chopsticks through your fingers on your right hand. I'm sure they have one for our left-handed gamers.
Yeah.
So you can take your 2 fingers, hold the chopsticks, hold whatever you want to do, like a potato chip, and lift the controller as you play. Continue playing, and put the chip in your mouth. It has solved it for us. Okay.
I'm looking at it right now. I think it is ambidextrous. I think you can use it on either hand. It looks symmetrical. I think you could use it. Yeah.
If you had, we already solved the drinking issue a long time ago. Okay?
With the straws.
You have the hat.
Mm-hmm.
You have the hat. You have the 2 containers on the side of each hat with the straw.
Mm-hmm.
But we never could solve snacking and eating snacks, right? Because before the gaming chopsticks holder, you had to actually let go of the controller and pause the game to eat. But now with modern games like Fortnite, Call of Duty Online, Halo Online, you can't pause, you'll get killed, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this solves that. You can continue playing and use your chopsticks to just lift and put into your mouth. You may have to keep running, and you won't be able to snipe anybody as you do it. Now, I say that tongue-in-cheek. This is hilarious. I can't imagine who would actually use this.
That's one word for it. I mean, Japan puts out a lot of wacky inventions. They've had like toilet paper rolls that would come down off your hat, right? Just in case you needed like a tissue or something like that. They've had personal air filtration systems, like a helmet you would put over your head, little umbrella hats, right, to protect you from the rain, but you wouldn't have to hold the umbrella up. And those are some of the more mild things that have come out of Japan. I don't necessarily know. I really don't know who this is for, to be honest. It's kind of ridiculous because you still have to move your hands with the controller to, in this case, the potato chips that are in the picture, and then elevate it up to your face, eat it while holding the controller. It doesn't.
Well,
doesn't
this is
seem like
this
it
is
would
more
be
for
great.
bite size. This is more for bite size, right? Stuff, right?
Well,
You can't exactly
I don't care
use
what
this.
I don't care what I'm trying to
You can't-
eat. I just don't think it's.
You can't exactly take a cheeseburger and use this, right? And is this something that you pick up like a chip, and you don't take a bite of it? You take the whole thing and put it in your mouth.
Well, you have
right?
to.
So that's
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, this is
funny. I thought this was funny.
Yeah, it's very funny. It's very funny.
If you're listening to the podcast version, go and Google the gaming chopsticks. Okay,
Mhm,
it's hilarious invention. I feel like I want to buy it just to try it.
I mean,
So.
Christmas is coming up. I may get you a set or three.
All right. Well, you may have it for your 50th birthday next year.
Hey, all right. I'll take
It's a
it.
big
I'll take it.
big time. Dave, this is the part of the show I know you love.
Mm-hmm.
We always try to start the show, but epically fail. What have you been playing?
Oh, it's a monumentous day, Dan. Cause
You finally have a PS5.
I do have the PS5. Yeah, as fans know, I got it. I guess 2 weeks ago, and it's been great. But that's not the big news, all right? Because we all know I picked up Returnal, having a ball with Returnal, making progress in Returnal. I love it. It's a live, die, repeat situation, right? It's like that Tom Cruise movie. You just keep reliving the same scenes over and over again, but they're slightly different.
Is it better than the movie?
I love that movie. I don't know what you're talking about. That movie was great.
Oh, get out of here.
You didn't like it?
The movie was terrible.
Why? Wait a minute. What was so bad about it?
That movie was just executed terribly. And I found
Executed terribly?
Watching
disagree.
the movie, I found some holes in the whole prospect of how he was dying and coming back. I found a couple of holes. I have to watch the movie again to point him out. But I remember like, that was true. No, I was so mad, and I went to the movies to see that.
Well, I mean, you could do that with any movie. Do that with Back to the Future. Do that with any movie that involves time travel or time manipulation. All right, because it's all theoretical. But all right. I love that movie. I thought it was great. Well, anyway, I've also been playing Guilty Gear Strive, which is amazing. Love that series. The new one does not disappoint. Although the character roster is a little thin. There's only 16 characters, I believe, in the set, and there's well over 30 characters.
How many characters do you need? I need
more than
16.
16. I need more than 16.
I think 16 is good.
No.
I think 16 is
16 is acceptable. 16 is acceptable for like a first version of the game. Do you know how many characters were in Super Street Fighter 2? And that came out in 1993 or 4.
There was 16 characters. You know how many characters are in original Street Fighter? You know how many characters in original Mortal Kombat?
8 plus 4 bosses.
There you go.
8 plus 4 bosses. But that was 1991. We can't have that anymore. We're well beyond that. We're well beyond that.
16 well-crafted characters.
Well, there's only like 2 or 3 new characters. Everybody else is returning characters. So, you know that. Well,
they put all the effort into quality over quantity.
Well, they are very good characters, and the new ones are very good. But 16 is a little light. If it was like their first game in like the series, if it was the first Guilty Gear, I would be like, okay, which I think had at least like 10 characters in there plus a boss or two.
So it had more than the first game. So there you go.
Well, I mean, it had less than the other iterations. It had less than the previous version.
Because they want
Guilty Gear Xrd.
They went with quality over quantity.
Yeah, Xrd is very good and has a larger character roster. Some of those characters are DLC, so I don't know if they just weren't ready yet or they wanted to have stuff to nickel and dime you later on. Because you can get a season pass for like $30. I believe it's like 5 new characters plus couple new stages and a bunch of costume colors and whatnot. So there's good value in it. I just don't know if they kind of held anything off there. But that's not why I'm excited, Dan. Finally, the game that everyone has been asking for limited run to put out, the Scott Pilgrim vs. the World video game that was locked to Xbox 360 and PS3. My copy has finally come in for the Switch, and I've been playing it again.
Special edition. Correct.
Hell yeah, it did. It comes in a case that is like a Genesis clamshell, which is awesome. And you get tickets to the show. Obviously there's no show to go to, but like in the movie / comic, right? They go to a couple concerts, so you get like special tickets in there. There's a whole instruction manual that looks like a Super Nintendo manual, I think. Plus you get the game cartridge, right? You get like a standard Switch game case, plus a bunch of other stuff. Haven't even gone through all that stuff. I kind of ripped into the game and started playing that right away. But I love it. And it has all the DLC, right? So you can get all the extra stuff, right? All the additional characters and all that came with the DLC. And this was a game you couldn't get, right? Because they lost the license. Ubisoft put it out originally, and they lost the license to it. They didn't want to re-up on it. So that means the game had to be taken down from the store, so you couldn't get it anymore. And it was on my 360. It still is on my old 360, but I never wanted to like dust it off and play it. So now I can play it anytime I want, license free. And it's beautiful.
So I've also been playing Scott Pilgrim.
Okay.
World
Okay.
on the Switch. I've only played like an hour of it. I mean, I love good beat 'em ups. Beat 'em ups always hard when you're playing it by yourself, right? They're always made to be played, co-op with someone else.
We gotta team up and play. We gotta team up.
Now my question to you is, did you get any issues when you first booted the game, right? Because I first booted the game and it kept freezing on me, and I was like, "Is this
really
a part of the game?" Yeah, it kept freezing on me, and I had to like get out, come in, get out of the game, come back, and I had to do it twice, and then the game actually started working.
Huh? Yeah, no, I haven't had any issues, thankfully. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been okay. I mean, after that like initial hiccup, it's been good or no?
No. After that initial just trying to come in and it freezes, and I'm like, is this part of the game? Is the intro about to pop in? And it's like, nope, it's frozen.
Yeah.
And it had to come in and come out like twice. The game was fine.
Yeah, okay. Because, I mean, they actually do have some stuff in the game that's supposed to be, like, kind of glitched out. Like, when you go in the subspace or whatever, it's supposed to look like that. Like, it looks like there's, like, you got to blow on the cartridge or something, even though it's not a cartridge. Well, it's kind of a cartridge. It's like an SD card.
I got to say, Dave, Microsoft hit it out of the park with this one. Home run.
Yeah?
Okay?
Yeah?
Home run. All right? It's a Steph Curry three-pointer for those who don't like baseball.
Ooh.
Okay? Three-pointer from the half court.
All right.
Right? Buzzer beater.
Sure.
Psychonauts 2 is amazing.
Yeah?
It's amazing. It is Microsoft's answer to Ratchet and Clank, which was also amazing.
Wow. Okay, so you beat both those games, right?
I beat both those games.
Feet to the fire right now. Which is a better game?
Ooh.
Come on.
Man.
And be honest.
Well, honestly, I haven't really thought about it. But Psychonauts is fresh in my mind because I just beat it. So I'm going to give the edge to Psychonauts right now. Just feet to the fire without thinking. Because it's fresh in my mind. So I need to mull it over and go through some of the cons of both games because they both definitely have cons. Okay?
Yeah, well, sure.
If I had to give a score, and we only give scores to retro games when we do our Saturday morning retro show, we post it last Saturday
of every month.
Okay, go check us out. But if I had to score Ratchet and Clank and Psychonauts 2, they both would get a 9.5.
9.5 out of 10, right?
Yes.
Okay. Just double checking.
I would give both of these games 9.5 out of 10.
Wow. Yeah. Awesome.
Psychonauts is funny, clever, and super enjoyable. Like, it's just a good game that you can enjoy. It's witty, funny. The dialogue is good. The story is wacky, and it sucks you in. And I really wanted to. And like, the story made me want to continue to beat it and find out what was going on. And then, as you unravel what's going on, and you get the surprise at the end, it's like, okay, now I really got to beat it because I'm getting you get a little bit emotional about it. So I really enjoyed the game.
Nice.
They knock it out of the park. Still gamer grief. Where's the camera? All right, that's the camera. Microsoft, Gamer Grief. Put out a physical edition.
Oh, well, yeah, of course. It's coming, Dan.
No
Trust
physical
me,
edition.
It's coming.
Well, a limited run probably be their first Xbox game.
Oh, yeah. Right. It's because it's an Xbox exclusive.
Yeah, that would work. Well, no, that's not true. It is on the PlayStation 4 as well.
Oh, the final Double Fine game to be on PlayStation.
Yeah, it is cross-gen. If it was a physical, I would have bought it for the PS4. Mm-hmm. But since I already had it on Games Pass, my Games Pass subscription was renewed until June.
Yep.
So
You're good.
I'm good. I played it. It was amazing. Gotta say, it knocked it out of the park. I can't wait to see if there's a Psychonauts 3 like 5 years from now.
They may. I mean, I was impressed that they brought it back twice. One with the Rhombus of Ruin PSVR, and then now with like Psychonauts 2, the true sequel to it. So very happy to see this back. Yeah, I may have to bust out my Rasputin Aquato costume that I did from 2014.
You were always about Psychonauts. I give you that.
Yeah,
I never played it before.
Yeah, it's great.
I did get a chance to to play the original.
Mm-hmm.
I do have it for the original Xbox, though I don't have it for the PS2.
Mm-hmm.
And you did dress up, right, as Rasputin.
I was head to toe, man. I had the jacket, I had the patches, I had the striped green shirt, made the helmet. Yeah. Does he have the same outfit in this one? Like, I know
he does have the same outfit.
Okay, because I know he was dressed up in a suit at some point. So,
well, that's in like the beginning of the game, and you can customize all of that stuff.
Oh, okay. I'll have to see what the options are. Maybe I'll
a lot of collectibles in this game, but like a lot of thoughtful collectibles. Right?
Okay.
From each stage. Each stage is sort of like a theme,
mm-hmm.
right? So I really enjoyed this game. I can't stop gushing about this game, so I'm gonna stop now. So, and that's a good endpoint for us. Okay, so let's take a break. When we come back, we'll get into the top gaming news of last week. And we're back. Let's get into the top gaming news last week. Let's start with our lead story. We have to talk about the accusations of foul play surrounding the record-breaking graded NES games auctions, right? I mean, this is just a whole convoluted mess. I mean, we've talked about it sort of in passing as like a funny thing, like, this game sold for $1 million, or we'll end the show with the N64 Mario selling for $1.5 million.
Mm-hmm.
And and it's just driving the prices of other retro games up. But now everybody and their mother thinks they're sitting on a gold mine, right? Like you go to any garage sale or you go to Salvation Army or Goodwill, that they don't even want to sell you a sports game for a good price. They think that it's going to be worth $1 million at some point, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, all jokes aside, Goodwill and Salvation Army now, if they see like video games, they don't, it may not make it to the floor because they have online auctions, right?
Yeah.
We talked about the Goodwill online auction.
Yeah, I brought it up last week because the guy at the counter was like, yeah, if we see something that we think is worth money, it's going to go to the online auction because it'll make more money for them. So, and I get that from their standpoint, they're like trying to make money to be able to sustain their business, right? And then sell affordable goods at their store, which I think is fine. But I mean, it all kind of comes from all of this hype and the bubble that's kind of been brewing and expanding. That's gonna break pretty soon.
So I know you really are passionate about this story and you really wanted to talk about it. I don't know that much about it.
Mm-hmm.
I know about the Karl Jobst video, which is a fantastic video. It's very long, so you should go watch it.
He's got like a 50-minute video that kind of exposes all of the collusion.
It's between Wata Games and Heritage Auctions.
Yeah. Yeah, so they're kind of the major players involved in all of this, and I guess we'll kind of set the stage with some of that information. Not everything in the video, but if you really want to take a deep dive into it, Jobst did an amazing breakdown of it. He has a lot of videos like that on YouTube. This is the first one that I saw. I've subscribed to his channel now. Gonna start watching everything he does because he kind of does good investigative journalism, right? And he went down the rabbit hole and found out so much stuff that was linked between Wata and Heritage Auction, right? So,
well, but before you get into that, just for anybody who may not know who these companies, like what these companies are, like what is Heritage Auctions and what is Wata Games?
Right. So Heritage Auction is an auction house that was founded, I believe, in 1974. They've been around for a little while, and they do specialty auction stuff, right? So you can't just go and say, "Hey, I want to auction off my copy of my loose copy of Contra." They're going to go, "No," right? It's got to be big ticket items and whatnot. And they most recently started getting into video game stuff. And Wata Games, just like VGA, that's the other company that does video game grading, right? So they will, for a fee, they will take your copy of your game, grade it, and put it in a plastic seal and put their branding and label on it. And it kind of has their grading system. It has their seal in it. And somebody from Wata has graded your game. This is what they've given it for like the game itself. And then also the seal on it, right? So if you have a sealed copy of whatever, they will grade the seal and they will grade the box. And those are like two different grades that are on there. That's slapped on the label. And ideally, having kind of a unified grading system and whatever else, if you see like, because it goes to like 9.8, I think is the highest you can get, 9.8 plus or something, I think. So if you see a game that has like a 9.0 or a 9.5 rating, it's in really good quality. Anything over a 9 is in like almost immaculate condition, right? 9.8 is the top of the top that you can get. So you see a 9.8, you go, oh shit, this is worth a lot of money. Maybe I will bid on this on top of whatever the game is, right? So if it's like Super Mario Brothers, which kept coming up and up in the news recently, right? That has a lot of historical significance. And also, these are really good condition games. So they were kind of netting these big prices. And also, not to mention that the copies were of a certain run, right? They do multiple runs of these games. So if you're talking about like a first run or a first edition, if you talk about comic books or whatever, that's important. And those are usually worth more because they were the original run. They're not reprints or like a second run or a third run, right? So they'll be slightly different. And there's ways to tell that. Rev A, I think Revision A is the original run of that stuff. So you ever see Rev A in the back of your cart, you know more or less that you have an original copy of that. All right. So that's who these two players are, right? There are many auction houses. There are, as far as I know, there's only two video game grading companies. There may be more bit players in the scene, but VGA's been around since 2008. Wata Games has been around since 2018. They are very, very new in the business, right? So that's just kind of something to note there, that they don't have the history. Heritage Auction House has the history to it. They also have some scandal, which we'll get into, but they have history behind it, right? It's like, when you go to a steakhouse, been around since 1909. Okay, it's got history, right? Katz's Deli, 1893. That has history. There's a reason it's been around for so long, right? You can trust in it that you're going to get a good meal. You should be able to trust in your video game grading company that you're going to get an honest grade and all that. But we'll get into all that. Just like a couple of things. The highest selling video game from 2017, July 2017, was a Mario Brothers copy that sold for $30K. I think we talked about it on the show. That was the highest selling video game sale that was on record, right? Higher than any NWC cart, higher than any world-class track meet, stadium events, right? Higher than anything else out there, right? That was the least on like record. right? And that was pre-Wata Games. Wherever, I don't know if that was sold through Heritage or whatnot. I don't think they were selling video games at that point, but we'll get into that. So then, after Wata comes into play, November 2019, Mega Man sells for $75K. July 2020, Super Mario Brothers sells for $114K. November 2020, Super Mario Brothers 3, greatest game of all time, $156K. April 2021, Mario Brothers, $660K. In July 2021, Legend of Zelda OG, $870K. And then the big boy, Mario 64, for $1.5 million, also July of this year. Couple days after Mario 64.
Well, you said something that just didn't make any sense.
Go ahead.
Which is what really should have sparked the controversy.
Mm-hmm.
April 2020, I think it was, the Super Mario Brothers that sells for $660K wasn't that the one with the original FOA Schwartz sticker on it?
FAO
like
Schwartz?
The original Nintendo sticker that was ones that they sold to FAO Schwartz.
I believe so, yeah. I believe that's the one.
I'm sorry. That's more valuable than any other game in history. Like, that's more valuable than N64, an N64 game.
Mm-hmm.
That's more valuable than Super Mario Brothers 3 or Super Mario World combined, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, the original Nintendo seal sticker in great condition from FAO Schwartz when video games were a joke in 1985 is more valuable than any other video game that you can mention. I'm sorry.
Sure. Like, how does...
And I feel like that auction for that game should stand. That is worth, I don't want to say $1 million, but that should be worth more than any other video game.
I mean, I'll agree with you on that point.
History.
Whether it's $660K or some other price, certainly debatable. I would argue it's not worth that much, but yes, it's probably one of the prized possessions of anybody's collection if they had that in their collection, and that would be the crown jewel and should be worth the most amount of money. I would agree with you there, right? I don't think Mario 64 should be selling more than Super Mario Brothers, the OG one, but there's also that too. It's a little weird, but in just 4 years, right, from July to July, 2017 to 2021, right, or actually April was when the last Mario Brothers, it went up 50 times from Mario Brothers to Mario 64, from the highest selling game of all time. 50 times, it skyrocketed, right? And that is now the record for, well, actually, I think there's a $2 million sale that went out, but it was like, it's something a little special. That's 50 times in 4 years. That's insane. Nothing has ballooned up that much. No stock, no valuation of any company, no baseball card or whatever has gone up. No comic has gone up that much in that short a time, right? And why? Right? Why are these games going up so much, right? And the reason they're going up so much is because Wata Games and Heritage Auction House are working together. They are colluding. And if you watch the Karl Jobst video, he'll break down all the individual details into it. There is a little bit of speculation, but you can kind of connect the dots and see, because there's a lot of stuff that's apparent and obvious if you do a little bit of digging.
I just thought it was funny how Wata Games sort of came out with the statement saying, it's untrue and all the accusations are untrue, and how they wish that he would have came to them and asked them, for sort of an interview so they can explain their side. And he tweeted out emails that he tried to, and they just, went by the wayside and they ignored them. So he did alert them to his journalistic video that he was going to put out.
Oh yeah.
They had no comment.
I think, that's the right thing to do. You let the company know ahead of time, hey, I'm working on this piece. This is what it's going to be. It's going to come out, do you want to comment? Do you want to clear anything up? And they said nothing. You're right. It's kind of, they were trying to sweep it under the rug, and Jobst is like, I've got journalistic integrity.
I don't think they were trying to sweep it under the rug, per se. I think because, you do that when You're trying to do the right thing. To me, sweeping it under the rug is when you try to do the right thing, and then you find out that there's something going on, and you try to hide it, right?
Yeah, I guess
this obviously is them colluding, doing it on purpose.
Right.
At least from the from all these reports of if these are true, they're purposely doing this. So it's not even sleeping on the rug. They're purposely doing this and didn't think they could get caught, right? So they didn't think that his video would get as much traction as it did.
Oh yeah, and it got a lot of traction. I mean, he did the research. And basically, like, where all this started, where all this culminated, was an episode of Pawn Stars, where somebody came in with a copy of, I believe it was Super Mario Brothers or Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, one of the two. And
I think it was Mike Tyson's Punch-Out.
Okay, so whenever they get something that they can make an episode around, which is the whole point of the show, you know, they get people to bring in things, and then they put the camera up and they pretend like, oh, we didn't know this was going to come in today, and they make a whole thing about it. So they knew this thing was coming in, and they get experts, quote unquote, ahead of time to like come in and evaluate it and all that. And Pat the NES Punk was actually asked to be on that show, to be someone to come in and be the expert in the matter, and he didn't want to have anything to do with it because he thought. Because they kind of gave him a little bit of like, look, here's what we want to do. This is the thing. We need you to come in and talk about this thing and whatnot. And he didn't want to do it. So they get Jim Halpert from Heritage Auction to come in to talk about the game. They get Dennis Kahn from Wata to come in and talk about this game, right? And they both big it up a lot. Oh, this game has historical significance. This game is in great condition. This could be worth whatever, so much money and this and that. Ultimately, that game goes to auction and sells at auction for a hell of a ton of money, right? And I believe that was the game that was bought by 3 different people, right?
3 different collectors. It was
3 different.
No, it was a Super Mario Brothers game because
it was the Mario
one
Brothers
that they
game.
sold.
Right.
It was the one that 3 collectors came together and they pooled their money to pay $660 for.
Right. And all 3 collectors are all related to Heritage and to Wata. Right. So everyone was working together to boost the sale of this game and to get notoriety and to get some public press and then to, you know, boost up the game sale. Right. And that happened with, I believe, each one of the sales that we mentioned. All the Mario Brothers, the Zeldas, the Mario 64s, and all that. This is calculated, right? They are getting press for their company, and Kotaku and Destructoid and The Verge and everybody else is buying into it hook, line, and sinker, and they do a face value story about it, and they don't look into the players. And when you start looking into the players of these big sales, you'll see that they're all related to Heritage and Wata.
To be fair, we did it at face value too. I mean, when the news broke that, you know, it sold for 600, a million,
right.
$1,050,000,
right?
We jumped into that too, right?
Well, I mean, sure,
we did it more so shit, right? Like, come on, really?
Well, I mean,
collectors, and we don't want these things to go, you know, the prices to go over the top, right?
Right.
Because that's when the bubble gets too big and then it eventually bursts.
Right. Well, we knew that these are not what they're worth, and someone's going to be left holding the bag at the end of the day, right? All these people that are buying and selling this stuff and whatever else, they're speculating on the market. They are not game collectors. They are not just like, oh, I had this in my collection, now I want to sell it, you know, whatever. I love this game. I had it. I don't want it anymore. No, it's people coming into the mix who, either they come into a group that's a trust or whatever. They all pool their money together. They buy this game. They get some press about it, right? They artificially big it up, and then they resell it a couple months later, right? And they just spin it right around. And eventually what's going to happen, you know, some schmuck off the street's going to buy a bunch of sealed copies of these games for a lot of money, and then the whole thing's going to burst, right? I think it's already starting to happen because this is out there now, and people realize that everything here is connected, right? All of these sales are connected. It's not just happenstance that, oh, yeah, I found this in my grandma's attic. I'm going to get it graded. I'm going to get it graded by Wata and then sell it, right? Because VGA has been around since 2008, and this never happened when it was just VGA, right? You get your game graded and whatnot. It would be an official seal. They do it out of 100. I think maybe 95 is the highest you can get or whatever. And it's like gold, silver, bronze, I think are the 3 different ratings. And then you get a number next to it, and it's VGA graded. VGA never had any issues with this. There was never any collusion. None of that stuff was going on. All right. And you know, you may ask, and I think it's fair to ask, like, what does Heritage have to gain out of this, right? Well, they gain the prestige of being able to say, hey, we sold all these high-ticket items. And then that means that you're going to want to sell your high-ticket item at a Heritage auction because you know you can get a lot of money for it because they're good at what they do. But they're really manipulating the market in this way, right? Not to mention that Heritage gets a percentage of the sale. And the buyer of the item, whatever it sells for, right? If it sells for $1 million, there's a 20% buyer premium that's on top of that, which goes directly to Heritage auction. All right. So that's another thing that's involved, right? And there's just so many more connections to it, right? The head, or one of the heads of Heritage auction, right, was involved in the $100,000 Mario Kart, right? He was one of the 3 people in the $100,000 Mario Kart. Jim Halperin, who runs Heritage Auction, who is also an advisor to Wata Games, right? So there you go. Not to mention that one of the heads of Wata, or the co-founders of Wata, right? That's kind of the latest piece to come out of this. One of the guys from Wata has been caught selling games on eBay, right? Which is, you know, that goes against company policy, right? Wata Games, Dennis Kahn from Wata Games is on record, and it's also listed on their website that employees of the company are not able to get their games graded, and they are not supposed to sell their graded games, right? So if they have video games and they get them graded, they're not supposed to do either of those things. They're not supposed to sell them either. The co-founder of Wata Games is doing just that. He bought up a bunch of games right before Wata Games got started in like 2017. And Pat the NES Punk tells a story about how he was contacted by this guy. Oh, I want to buy some games from you and whatnot. He goes, nah, I'm not going to do that. I don't want to sell, because he knew there was something shady going on, right? And this dude had a bunch of games that were all kind of sealed and this and that, and he got them graded on the down low, and he's trying to sell them on eBay for a ton of money, right?
I think Pat said that at one of the conventions he saw him buying up all the sealed copies of NES and SNES games.
But he also contacted, he contacted Pat too, I believe.
Yeah.
And yeah. So there's that, right? There's a company policy set up that you can't get your games graded, and you can't resell those games, right? Because that's a conflict of interest, right? That is a problem. You're supposed to be an impartial third party company, and your job is to objectively grade these games, give them a value, slap them in a plastic case, and then send them back to the person, right? But they're doing everything in their power to manipulate the market and to make these games, you know, skyrocket in price so that more people will come to them and get this stuff graded, because Wata gets a percentage of the graded game. Right, so if they get a copy of Super Mario Brothers that's sealed, and they on face value they say, okay, we think this game may be worth like I don't know, $50,000, $100,000, or whatever it is, they get a percentage of what they value the game at as their cut, right? So it's kind of like a flat fee up to like $1,000, I think, valuation, and then after that, it's like, you know, $1,000 to $2,500 to whatever, and it just keeps going up. So the higher the game grade, the more money they're going to make out of it, right? Also, Also, Wata is very inconsistent with their grading. It's not a science. There's a bunch of things that that this Karl Jobst guy on YouTube points out. In particular, I think a Sega Saturn version of Tomb Raider, which has some actual like holes in the seal, and it's rated at like a 9.0 or whatever it is, right? So it's inconsistent based on what's listed on the Wata website. All right. So the whole thing is just terrible. It's not a a rising tide lifts all ships type situation. No. It's people trying to manipulate this, treat it like a kind of a stock market type situation, treating these things as like short-term investments, trying to make money off it. Wata and Heritage, getting all this press for all their video games, and all of these sales more or less have somebody on the inside who is either buying these games or selling these games or involved in some way that is just I'm going to assume illegal. All right. I don't see how any of this could be legal. All right. I don't necessarily know all the particulars of it and whatnot, but I do think this does need to be looked into because everything that they're doing benefits Wata and Heritage Auction, and everybody is involved with everybody in this case, right? Whether they work for one company or the other, or they're on the advisory board for Wata Games. I mean, it's freaking terrible. It's terrible. But you got to watch the Karl Jobst video. There's a lot of good stuff. Watch Pat and Ian on the CU podcast, because they have been talking about this for a long while now, and they have some really good clips, and they kind of go into more detail than I think we can ever do. But
first of all, just to put a cap on this, I want to say, I think the day you told me that they grade repro games, is the day I didn't take them seriously. That right there should have told you just some shady stuff.
How do you grade a repro?
Repro. That doesn't make any sense.
Oh, this is a really good fake because, I mean, none of it's real. None of it's real. You printed something off your printer, no matter how high quality it is. It's not an original print run. It has a different label. You got a different clamshell for it, all right? And it's got different insides inside.
So instead of $1.5 million for the sealed original N64 Mario game, all right, you get like $800,000 for a fake, a repro. That doesn't make any sense, right? It just doesn't make any sense.
Right.
It's worth $8, not $800,000.
Right.
So, all of this sucks.
Yeah.
Just because it inflates, it just inflates the price for people who are just starting to want to collect, right? Yep. People who are younger and now they're in their 20s and have some disposable income who want to start collecting because they're starting to get nostalgia. It just sucks for them. They jump into this and, prices are just so inflated.
Yeah. Yeah. One final bit too, which is terrible, is that Wata or Heritage won't give out population reports, which is important because that is a running tally. So you have a copy of Super Mario Brothers sealed. You want to know how many copies are out there that are sealed and what their grades are. So you know that, okay, there's like 20 sealed games that are 9.5 or 9.8 or whatever it is, right? That's really important because the more of them that are out there, the less the price of the game is going to be, right? It's not one of one anymore. Now it's one of 20, right? And they don't put that information out because that's going to affect all of the people on the inside who are buying these games and trying to sell them, right? You're supposed to produce population reports so people know, you got to have transparency in the company, and there's zero transparency. They try and hide everything. They end up hiding the buyer and seller, which makes it very difficult for you to trace this down and figure out. But Karl Jobst did the work, and he figured out that a lot of these people are related or work for Wata or Heritage. So,
I want to say we're going to keep an eye on the situation, right? The more the story unravels, we're definitely going to cover it on the show. But we started the show with a down note. I want to get us back. I want to get us back. I want to get us excited again, right? No controversy. Let's talk video games at its purest form. Let's get excited. Now, I'm super excited because Sony has finally announced sort of a new showcase event. Now, I just found out because I saw this on IGN, right? IGN did the work. When you have a state of play historically has been sort of the same thing as a direct mini, right? Where they talk about a specific number of games, probably a handful, a lot of indie games, and they're in and they're out. But when Sony says they have a showcase, that's when it's their long form event, their long form E3 event. So this is technically our first sort of like long form E3 style showcase from Sony that we're going to get, right? Because we had a state of play, which is sort of like a mini last month. September 9th, Thursday, September 9th, look out. Sony showcase. It's about 40 minutes long, right? So, and they're going to talk about the future of the PS5 and updates, updates from games from PlayStation Studios and industry-leading devs, as they put it. I want to take it from this note. Dave, I know I'm looking forward to seeing God of War Ragnarok. I think we're going to see something from God of War Ragnarok. Cinematic trailer, probably a little bit of gameplay, not a lot, but we're going to get the gist of what the game, what direction you're going to take the game. What do you think, or what do you want to see at this 40-minute showcase?
I'll tell you what I want to see. A new Twisted Metal from Incognito. They need to bring the series back. It kind of fell dormant on the PS4, right? The last one was I think the PS3 version from like 2011 maybe, that I think was just Twisted Metal, and it did not do well, which is sad because I love that series. I think it's the car combat, like it's the gold standard for car combat, right? And you could do so much with the PS5 with the big open world visuals, right? You could really do a lot with that.
But what do you think they're going to show?
I think you're right about God of War. I mean, it's time for that. We may get a little more info on Horizon, right? They may tell us about some more systems that are in the game to kind of get us hype, because now it's not coming out this Christmas, right? It's going to be coming out like early next year. So you want to keep the hype train alive.
February 18th.
February 18th, right? You want to keep the hype train alive. You want to keep it in the zeitgeist, and you want people to save up their $70 or $60, whatever it's going to be, and to get that game when it comes out, right? You don't want to have it get lost in the shuffle and like the post-holiday shuffle where everyone's like either picking up the games that they didn't get during the holiday season or playing all the games that they got during the holiday season. You want to make sure it makes a big splash. So I think my money's on both. I think you're right, God of War, and I think a little more gameplay from Horizon Zero Dawn.
We'll probably see a little bit of Kenya Bridge of Spirits, right? Because that's coming out this month.
Oh, that's right.
That's the next and only exclusive that we know of that's coming out, this year for the rest of the year. I think they probably have some smaller titles, right? Or maybe talk about some indie titles that are coming out for the rest of this year. And we're going to get
indie titles from Sony or from third party?
Just from third parties, because they strategically said industry leading devs,
right? Because they don't really have those small studios anymore. They kind of closed them all down in favor of the big AAA tentpoles, which is a strategy. Yeah, I think, certainly.
I think it's time to hear about Final Fantasy 16. Right?
Oh,
we haven't heard anything since 2020.
That's a good point. It's been I think 5 years since Final Fantasy 15 came out. So it's about time.
Yes, around that time. Yeah,
it's about
time. The Final Fantasy Dark Souls style game, right? That the demo exclusive to the PS5.
Yeah,
right? We'll get a little bit of that.
I'm okay with not hearing or playing that.
Oh, come on, download the demo and let me know what you think.
They don't actually have the demo online anymore. I looked for it earlier today and it's not there. It just says coming soon. Yeah. I found the listing, which was very hard to find, by the way. I had to specifically type in Strangers of Paradise, just that, and I still had to sift through to find it. But yeah, it says like coming soon, and you can like follow it. You can follow it and get like info about it as more comes out, but there was no demo I think it was just a time demo for that weekend or whatever it is, or that week.
Maybe we'll get some info on Gran Turismo, right?
Oh, yeah.
Turismo game.
Yeah, Gran Turismo 7, right?
That they, those are things that are in the hopper, and I think they'll end it with something we haven't heard of, right? From one of their other studios. So maybe we'll get it. Maybe they'll sneak in an Uncharted game. There is, I do believe there's an Uncharted game in the works. It's just probably something we will hear later on.
Well, it's got to come from Naughty Dog, right? So, what are they working on?
The rumor is it isn't Naughty Dog. Right?
Oh, really?
Sony owns the IP, but is Naughty Dog working on it? The rumor is no. So,
I don't know, man.
Silent Hill game, the new Silent Hill game that was, everyone, the rumor and speculation is ramping up that Sony has brokered a deal to get, to put out a new Silent Hill game with Konami. So we could get some of that, right?
The Silent Hill games are not good without Kojima, and the Uncharted games, in my opinion, are not good without Naughty Dog involved. Right? You got to go with the team.
Was Kojima involved with Silent Hill in the first three?
He was involved in part 2, and that's kind of
the first
arguably
one was a classic. I love the first one.
Yeah, no, the first one's not bad, but I think like part 2 is the one that a lot of people say is like the best of the series.
Well, you want to talk about games being a collector and games are expensive, right? Wata, don't listen to this, please.
Yeah.
It's like Silent Hill 3 is expensive.
Wow.
I was lucky enough to get the Silent Hill collection on the PS3, which is also going up there in price, but it has 1, 2, and 3. So I have so technically I can play the third one.
Right.
Play it on the PS3. So, but the PS2 Silent Hill 3 is kind of expensive, which you know how much I hate horror games. So I'm not spending all that money for a game I'm not going to play.
Sure.
But I'm looking forward to it. Don't worry. Next show, we're probably going to lead into all the amazing announcements from the Sony showcase. So
I think it's
keep
going to
an
be
eye
pretty
out
big.
on it. Coming out, Thursday. Next, THQ Nordic. It's the 10th anniversary of the resurrection of THQ. Right, it's the 10th anniversary of Nordic Games purchasing THQ. Right, and then rebranding as THQ Nordic. And they're going to have a 10th anniversary showcase, November 17th, that's hosted by Jeff Keighley. All right. So I think this was a great idea to get Jeff Keighley, right, to host the show because it's going to get some eyeballs on there.
He's a great host, and he carries a lot of weight in the industry,
Yeah. Again, I think this is what I want to hear, because they're going to talk about games, right? The games that they're working on, and they have like 120 different IPs, right? And again, that's a little inflated because a lot of that stuff is mobile games that they're working on, right? And I understand, we as sort of what we call ourselves hardcore gamers, right? We poo-poo mobile games, but, mobile games keep the lights on. Mobile games keep the lights on.
I poo-poo the microtransactions and the gating of resources and whatnot in mobile games, right? I just want to be able to play the game. Even if it's a match 3 game, I want to pay the $5 and just play unlimitedly. And I don't like the game mechanics where you get, 30 electricity charges to be able to play, and it's $5 per play, and it's, that I don't like.
Well, I think, what game or IP you want to see THQ Nordic come out for their anniversary? Because this is their anniversary, right? So they want to come out big. In my view, they want to do something big, right? This is not something that you want to show a lot of mobile games on. I want to see a Time Splitters.
Yeah.
That's what everybody wants. And I think Time Splitters could be their Halo. Because you can build an interesting story around it, right? And everybody loved Time Splitters in the past for their multiplayer, right?
They were great.
So you can get old heads like us in with the story, and you can get the new generation in with the multiplayer, right? So I think that could be, and it's Time Splitters, so you could do anything with that sort of in that realm.
Oh, sure.
Sci-fi wise.
Sure.
You don't have to base it in reality. So
first one was one of the only games, possibly the only first-person shooter on the console that had a level editor built in. You could make your
That's
own
true.
levels.
I remember
in that.
that.
All right.
I remember.
They had a tight single player game. They had good multiplayer. You couldn't jump in that game, but also you couldn't jump in Doom. So there you go.
Just like Zelda.
Yeah, exactly. You can't jump in Zelda
Can't
either.
jump.
But I mean, I think they fixed that in the sequel or part 3 at least. Yeah, man, I think you're right. Fans love time splitters. I don't know if it necessarily holds up now, but it definitely at the time was amazing. Like that was a game. Yeah, I would definitely put my money behind the new time splitters because they bought the IP, right? They ended up acquiring the IP, so
They did.
what are you going to end up doing with it, right? You're just going to sit in it forever? I mean, you buy it with the intention of doing something with it, right? Or making sure that somebody else doesn't do something with it, right? But you gotta make good on your investment eventually. So I think it's about time.
So don't
for that.
they put out the SpongeBob, right?
Sure.
Bikini game,
Battle for
right?
Bikini
So maybe
Bottom, yeah, the remake, yeah.
So obviously they worked with Nickelodeon for the license. Maybe we can get a new a SpongeBob game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe in the same vein as the Ratchet and Clank and Psychonauts, a platformer.
Sure.
That's well done. And even Darksiders, I think, is a THQ Nordic game, right?
Yeah, that's right. It is. We haven't seen, I don't know, Darksiders 3 was what, a couple years ago?
I think Darksiders 3 was last year.
Oh, last year? I can't remember, man. Last year is such a blur. Last year is such a blur, to be fair. And that was the one with the famous black spine for the Nintendo Switch version, right?
I know, and I found a used copy at GameStop, and I got it for a good price.
There you go.
Wata, I'm gonna see you 10 years from now. For my black spine.
I gotta pretend you didn't say that. I mean, you know what I'm really surprised about, though? I'm surprised THQ Nordic is 10 years old, right? THQ's been around since the early 90s, I think, the original incarnation of THQ.
I was just going to say since the beginning of time to just bridge the gap with time splitters, right?
They were around since the days of the dinosaurs.
Yeah, making games.
There you go.
The dinosaurs can play.
Yeah. But I mean, they went bankrupt in the mid 2000s. They lost, all their licenses. THQ Nordic comes up.
You know who I miss?
Who do you miss?
Come on, THQ Nordic. I need you to buy them. Buy the name. Acclaim. THQ Acclaim.
You want to get some new Turok games?
Get some new Turok games.
Or maybe some, what did they? Did they do the, no, that wasn't them. They didn't do Hits and Blitz and all them, right? I think that was Midway.
No, but they did Mortal Kombat, right? Because it was Mortal Kombat. It was what Acclaim.
They did have some of the home ports, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. Let's transition to Nintendo. All the speculation and the rumor and the innuendo is that we're going to get a Nintendo Direct.
I don't think that's the proper use of innuendo, Dad.
I know. I just like saying it though. Come on, I like saying that word.
It's a fun word. It's a fun word. I'll give you.
It's a fun word. It's a fun word.
I'll give you that.
Well, okay. As a side note, Dave, come on. Back in our Circuit City days, we would have fun selling TVs and computers, making up words or using fake technical words like flux capacitor. Right? Like, man, this TV, great pixel density, great color, and is a 60 hertz flux capacitor.
That's right.
This is a great Sony TV, right?
The Combinator engine in this one is second to none.
Yes.
You won't find it in any other TV. That's why you need to buy this $3,000 42-inch TV.
All right. So give me innuendo, okay? I have no reason to say this word. I gotta say this word.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm trying to put it in.
I got you.
All right. So we're going to get I do believe it historically. They have, all seriousness, they have had sort of like the big style fall direct in September, right? So another sort of rumor for this direct, so it kind of makes sense, right? Because all the rumors are ramping up, is that we're going to get for Nintendo Online service, we're gonna get the Game Boy and Game Boy Color games, right, added on, which kind of makes sense. Right, like we were asking when we're going to get those Game Boy games because they had them in the eShop on the Wii and on the Wii U, and you can still buy them on the Wii U, right?
I was going to ask about that. Yeah, I didn't realize they'd done that already. Yeah,
so they could just port this over to the Game Boy. They could just port this over to the Switch, and it makes sense that they would do it in September, sort of the anniversary of Nintendo Online's when they first announced it like 2 years ago, and then when they brought out the SNES games last year, to bring Game Boy and Game Boy Color. That they're going to drag this out as long as possible, right? Like I mean, we're going to have maybe Game Boy Advance games, which I don't think there's reports that the reason why they're not going to put out Game Boy Advance games because they're going to put out remakes of these games, like Advance Wars, right? So they're not trying to put them
and then
on
resell them on the
service,
Switch. Yeah,
because they're going to resell them, do resell remakes, and obviously N64 games are going to be a little bit tougher because a lot of those games, a lot of the popular games are owned by Microsoft, and it's probably something you're still in negotiations with. As we know from, Xbox buying Bethesda, negotiations take a long time, right? Isn't that something that you could just call up and get done in a month? They take years on how we're going to split this revenue.
Not to mention N64 emulation is very tough to do. They've kind of struggled trying to get the emulator into a good spot. I think the PC emulation now is pretty good, but I remember even like 10 years ago or whatever, it was kind of rough. Had a bunch of glitches, wouldn't necessarily run that well. So
to me, this is the opposite of the Sony showcase. The Sony showcase is talking about the future of PlayStation 5, right? Where these are the games that are going to come out later in the future. These are the games that we're working on. I think we're going to hear from a lot of different studios on these are games that they're already in hopper that we're not going to be able to buy. This is the reason why you buy a PS5 in the future, right? Not necessarily right now. I think we'll get a lot of indie games coming out. They're going to showcase maybe Axiom Verge 2 or other games that are out right now, or games that are going to come out later in the fall. Where I think Nintendo, the direct will be the opposite of that. These are the games that are coming out this fall, not necessarily focusing on the future of things that they're working on, because all we know right now, to my knowledge, is Metroid Dread, right? That's coming out in October. I don't know any other. I can't think of anything off the top of my head, any other Nintendo first-party games that are coming out this year.
Yeah,
right? Everybody's waiting for the OLED and Dread, but give me a reason to play OLED, right? I think they need to say, hey, these are the up-res graphics on these games that you already own, right? And Mario Odyssey or stuff like that. There's still Pikmin, right? The new Pikmin game, which by all accounts during the Wii U era they said it was done.
Yeah,
right? Like they said Pikmin 4 is done during the Wii U era. We still haven't heard anything about that. They're probably trying to see what new things they could do with the Switch version, right?
Yeah,
or
maybe
maybe that version was just canceled.
We definitely talked about it on the show before, that the rumor is that Nintendo likes to hold on to properties until they're ready, until Nintendo is ready to put them out, right? They want to wait for the right time, not conflict with any other properties. So there's a possibility, you're right, that Pikmin's done, it's in the hopper, and they're just waiting for the right moment to say, boom, here it is.
Well, also we know from all the reports that's done, Metroid Prime Trilogy, right? But I don't think they're going to put that out to take away from Metroid Dread. I think Metroid Prime Trilogy is something you put out when Metroid Prime 4 is going to be ready to be showcased later.
You want to keep the hype train going, right? Here's the classic trilogy to get you ready for part 4. Sure. Yeah, sure.
So I don't know what they would put out, but I know this. We have one more Smash Brothers character left, and we got it. I say just get it over with. I said they either begin or end, and depending on the character will depend on what they do, right? I think they would end the direct. This direct that's fictional, we don't know. They could not have a direct in September, but historically, again, they usually do put it out.
Right.
I say you end the direct with the new Smash Brother character, and you make it Goku. It's what everyone's been asking for. Everybody wants.
Come on.
And come on. That or Master Chief. I don't know. Come on. You've been working with Microsoft. Why not put
Master Chief is a little bit violent. All of his weapons are gun-based, right? Or rocket-based, or plasma-based, or incendiary.
I say Goku, right? They sort of shunned Goku in the beginning when everybody was asking for him in Smash Brothers, and maybe Nintendo has a history of, lying, of saying, oh, those leaks, those are false. And then 6 months later, oh, yeah, it's true. Here it is. Right. Because they want to put it out when they want to put it out, when they're ready. And I get that.
Right.
I understand that. You want to keep the surprise. And they pretty much said there's no way, no how Goku is going to be in the game, which tells me Goku can be in the game. There's a chance. When a company says no way, no how, that means there's a chance.
It's
it's the last Smash Brothers character. Come on. It can't go out with a thud.
You're reminding me of Dumb and Dumber when I think it's Lloyd, right? I think that's the blonde-haired dude. It doesn't matter. And he's there, and he's in the hotel with the woman, and he's like, "Would you?" Oh no. I think it was Jim Carrey's character. And he's in there with the woman, and he's like, would you have sex with me, or would you date me, or whatever? And he's like, not if you were the last man on earth. It'd be like, yeah, it's 1,000,000 to 1, 1,000,000 to 1, all right, 1,000,000 to 1, 1,000,000 to 1 chance. And he's like, so you're saying there's a chance?
So there's a chance, yeah,
slim,
there's a chance,
slim, 1 in a million, 1 in a million.
Come on, look. It's the last Smash Brothers character, right?
I mean, I want Goku. Don't get me wrong.
It was Goku.
That's what I said. Goku, yeah.
I said Goku.
No, yeah, that's what I said. Goku, yeah. They
Goku, but
everybody wants Goku. All right, what he's gonna do, he's gonna troll the audience and say, you know what? We know you love Dragon Ball Z. Here's Bulma.
Oh my God, no.
That's what's gonna happen. He's gonna put the most non-fighting character in Smash Brothers.
I think this works for everybody involved.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you put Goku in a game. It's the last character that no one's going to be thinking Goku because you said no way, no how.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Dragon Ball, it does fit his narrative. He said it hasn't been on a Nintendo console. It's not going to come. So obviously, Master Chief is a reach, but you have
pun intended.
Yeah, I know. Pun intended. But Dragon Ball Kakarot, right, came out earlier this year for the Xbox and the PlayStation 4.
Mm-hmm.
Or last year, I think. Was it last year or this year? I forgot. It was one of it came out, but now
recently,
the Switch version is coming out this month. The Switch version is coming out this month.
Mm-hmm.
So that would make sense, and this would only enhance people's interest in buying other Dragon Ball Z games.
Yeah,
that you have this character, you have Kakarot, right? So it would boost the player count of Smash Brothers, right? Like immediately, everybody's gonna start playing.
Oh yeah,
everyone's gonna buy the DLC.
Because then you can do.
I'm gonna dust it off and play it.
Right, then you can do Goku versus Samus, Goku versus Ryu, Goku versus Cloud, Goku versus Sephiroth.
Nobody cares about that. They just care about Goku versus Ryu. They just care about Goku.
I mean, but
Ryu.
you can have all those fantasy battles finally, right? It's a dream come true. Who would win in a fight?
And I think it would boost the sales of like Dragon Ball Kakarot and the Xenoverse games, which were terrible. I'm sorry, but they were. Dragon Ball Fighters with a Z, that's on the Switch. That would boost. It would boost the sales of those games.
100%. Yeah.
Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
I think that's what I want. If it's not Goku, then you just start the direct with whatever it is.
Well, it's either the big mic drop is Goku or Geno from Super Mario RPG. Those are I think number 1 and number 2.
If
Everyone
it's
wants Geno,
if it's Geno, then you start the direct with it.
Oh, I think Geno. I think Geno is, as far as fan reception, is just as big as the want for Goku.
I disagree.
You don't care about Geno.
I disagree.
I don't necessarily care that much about Geno.
No, that's not true. Don't put words in my mouth. I care about Geno. I loved the only RPG I ever loved in my life were 2: Super Mario RPG
and Final Fantasy
7.
Yeah, right.
Okay. So those are the only 2 RPGs I ever cared in my life. I care about Geno. Okay,
not as much as you care about Goku.
I think the love and passion for Goku transcend gaming, right? It would be like, oh, Goku is on a Nintendo franchise, like he's on a Nintendo game, right? Like for people who are non-gamers, who are casual gamers, would be like, oh, Goku is on a Nintendo game. Like I would play Smash Brothers, right? Compared to Geno, who, to be honest, I love Geno because I love Super Mario RPG, right? I love that game, but Gino is only known to the hardcore audience.
Fans want it though. Fans want it. It's like the number one. It always tops the list. Who do you want to see in Smash? It's Gino and Goku.
I think Gino's up there, and Waluigi.
He's 1 and 2. Oh well, Waluigi's like number 3. Yeah. Just because it's a meme at this point. Just because it's a meme at this point.
Goku is number 1.
You know what though?
Far number 1.
You know what though? It would be very fitting because Sakurai may be done with the series after this. Right? Because he's kind of getting up there a little bit, and it's a lot of work to put all this stuff together in game balance and all that stuff. He could do Waluigi at the end of the day.
But he's already
a spirit?
A spirit or something.
Yeah, but I think that's happened already though. There's been characters who were spirits previously, but who then get turned into real characters.
Yeah, but they were spirits, like they were like sort of like side characters in the other games who became a main character in the next game. I think this is going to be his swan song. He can go out with a bang and put Kakarot.
I know you want
Goku.
I know you want Goku
in the game.
I know you want
that will be his mic. He could just drop the mic and just leave. And just say, I did all I can. It is now officially Smash Brothers Ultimate.
If he did Goku, you could technically do Vegeta as an Echo Fighter, because they have a similar makeup, right? They have a similar hairstyle and all that, and they have a similar moveset, right? They're
yes.
Yeah. So they technically could do that. I doubt they're going to do that. Though.
If not Vegeta, Gohan. You could put Gohan as his Echo Fighter. You have so many options.
Wait, no. Gohan's like half the size. He doesn't fit the model.
No, Vegeta is half the size. Vegeta is not as tall as Goku. Gohan, adult Gohan is the same. I know my Dragon Ball.
I was thinking about Dragon Ball Z Gohan. Isn't he like Kid? He's Kid Gohan, right?
No. Dragon Ball Z Gohan could be adult Gohan too.
Oh, he becomes adult Gohan in the series?
Yes.
Oh, I don't think I got that far in the series. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Maybe.
Yeah. So you could do adult Gohan. And he'll be sort of a parallel to Goku. You could do. I mean, don't get me wrong. I want Vegeta too, right? You could do Vegeta.
Well, you want everybody, but then at that point, just play fighters. Just play fighters.
I want Bulma too. I want her to be.
Yeah. Then you just have to play fighters at that point. Dragon Ball Z fighters. Now you're in a completely different game.
All right. Well, you know what? My predictions: God of War Ragnarok gameplay and trailer, and Goku will be the last Smash Brothers character.
You want to make a Shake Shack bet on that?
Hell no.
Because you know it's not going to happen.
It'll happen. It'll happen.
Well, then make a Shake Shack bet.
It's just like a pup named Scooby-Doo. Remember that TV show?
I do, from the 80s. Yeah.
No, pup named Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, from the 80s.
Channel 7.
From the 80s.
A pup named Scooby-Doo was in the 90s.
It was in late 80s. 80s.
Pup named Scooby-Doo was in the 90s.
It continued into the 90s. I can guarantee you.
A pup named Scooby. Okay, all right. Okay.
Trust me. I know my Saturday morning TV. 1988. I was right. 1988. But it did go into the 90s.
Well, fun fact: it had 4 seasons, but not as many episodes as The Honeymooners.
Oh well, there you go. Bringing it all back. There you go. It's a callback to the beginning of the show.
And you remember every villain he said it was Red Herring who did it. Red Herring did it. Red Herring I think it was Red Herring, right? And then that one episode where he says, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it anymore because that's just it. And it was like, okay, you're not going to say it. And then it was Red Herring who did it.
That's funny.
Right?
Oh.
It is Kakarot. He will be the last Smash Brothers character, but I'm not going to put a Shake Shack bet on it.
If only.
So, all right. Our last story, I think, is amazing. It's awesome. And I think every doctor and dentist should do this. All right. There's a dentist, the Zen Family Dental in Ashland, Massachusetts. Dr. Taj Shah, hope I say his name right. I butcher everybody's name. Is a huge Nintendo and Smash Brothers fan. And if you can beat him in Smash Brothers, you will get a free dental cleaning.
Oh my God. That's amazing. So he's got He's got a TV set up, and I guess his weight room and all that. You challenge the dentist. You go into a fight. I guess it's one. You know, I don't know if it's like Final Destination, no items, right? I don't know if it's like that hardcore, but yeah. I mean, I guess you kind of go at it, standard match, whatever it is, and if you win, you get a free dental cleaning, which I think is kind of awesome, right? Because I mean, it, like, most people are probably going to have insurance, but anybody who doesn't have insurance would be expected to pay out of pocket, right, for whatever it is. And that's just kind of how our kind of dental system works. So this is kind of cool. It gives you a little, like, you know, a chance to get a free cleaning.
You get one free cleaning. Your insurance covers one free cleaning a year, so this gives you a chance to get 2 or 3 free cleanings.
You could come in and get 2. Yeah. So, that's awesome.
I mean, hey, can I get a free root canal if I beat him in Mario Kart? I mean, come on. This would be awesome. It's like, all right, can I get my appendix removed while I beat you in Street Fighter?
Well, I wouldn't say while. I would say, can we play ahead of the surgery? I don't want to do it while surgery is going on. So do you think this dentist mains Dr. Mario? Is that his guy? It's got to be Dr. Mario, right?
No.
It's got to be. No. Come on. That's thematic. It's on brand. It would be on brand. Oh.
Well, he's in Massachusetts, so the next time when everyone's vaccinated and they have an actual PAX East show,
we got to get up there. Yeah.
We can maybe potentially get a free cleaning with our trip.
That'd be awesome. We got to take
Dave,
the extra day to go down there.
That's it for the news. You got any plans this Labor Day weekend?
I'm going to be playing some Psychonauts 2, I think, and some Astrobot, because I have yet to play those 2 games, but they are downloaded and ready to go. So
play Astrobot, my friend. Astrobot will show you everything that can be done with the DualSense, and you'll be amazed and be excited for all the companies that don't use this feature.
Yeah. I hear it's a showcase of the PlayStation history and a showcase of the new DualSense controller. So
it is. I'm excited. It's awesome.
How about you?
I'm gonna play some Bloodstained: Curse of the Moon 2. I just got it for the Switch.
I do not have my copy yet, but it's on the way. They said that it shipped, so it's coming.
And I'm gonna play some Microsoft Flight Simulator. I downloaded it. It's ready to go.
Okay.
And I'm gonna try it out. Actually, I'm gonna try it out as soon as we're done with the show.
Nice. I hear it's a very beautiful game. Yeah. So all right. That is episode 287 in the books, folks. We want to thank you guys for listening to the show and liking, commenting, doing all the good stuff that you guys do. If you want to interact with us, and we know that you do, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at Rated G for Gamers. Also, we are part of the Gaming Podcast Alliance, so you can check out all of the fine podcasts featured on there at gamingpodcastalliance.com if you're looking for more gaming goodness. So, please listen, like, rate, review, and subscribe. And as always,
keep gaming.